Hi class, and this is another part of the same content about Android programming, and in this subsection I want to actually try to give you some highlight on how the environment will be built. And as we have already said, we need an SDK and the Java development kit, and the development kit is really important so that we will be actually be using it to program. The Java syntax is supposed to be actually be applied, and Delvic virtual machine is also as a major component inside. And to do so, then you have to actually go into this link. If you don't have, then download the Android development tool, and which is actually be set on your machine. And after downloading and also installing, clearly you need to also enable the Android virtual device AVD, an emulator, which is actually be used to actually see samples on how your program is actually running on your machine. And in addition, clearly you can actually start your first application. When you just start this kit, clearly the first screen is supposed to come or looks like this one. It's not always as it is, but the first window has some major component inside, and the first window will actually appear or created. And on the left side, you will see the folder section. Here you will be actually be accessing the different 4 folders, and you can actually try the Java, the XML, the drawings, and the layout, and all these things. But you can actually start your studio and try to check by clicking one after another. And the next one is actually the display. This is actually used to display in design mode or in XML mode, but this is only applicable when you select the XML or the activity file. But in any way, you can actually switch from one to another by actually applying these buttons. And the third group is where components are existing, and pre-designed component, drag and drop components are available. You can actually pick whatever you want and put into your window where you will be actually be using it. And the fourth part is here in the fourth component, you can actually see the tree and how hierarchically actually be created some components. And the fifth and the bigger component is actually to use to show the display. It might be an XML file or a design view or a Java code, but here, for example, the design view is actually be already seen. And finally, on the right side, there are some preview buttons which will appearing whenever you just select whatever it is required here, but clearly preview is actually to preview, but there are also some buttons which comes along with that, like attributes and all, but at this point of time, then the screen is actually visible this way. And this is when the Java code is clicked, and clearly the Java code will be actually be seen, and the log window is also here. We will be discussing later on in this regard. And the next one is about the emulator. And as we know, the Android virtual device has to be actually be initiated, and this can actually be done by actually selecting in your Android Studio the AVD manager. Whenever you just click, if there are some already defined, you'll see some list. If not, nothing. But you have to select a new to create. It means create a virtual device has to be selected. You can click here, And while clicking this, then the next screen will actually come, and where you can actually select some display sizes and the API, the pixels, and also the device type if you wish. And on the right side you'll actually see some steps to follow, and then you can actually create by clicking some next steps. There are 2-3 steps to follow, and based on that you will be creating your own the emulator or a virtual device. And while running the app, clearly this virtual device will be used to display the result. And as it's already discussed, the virtual devices are actually virtually created mobile type of graphic interface, but you can also use your physical device, your existing phone connected to the computer using the USB cord, but that is another step where you have to actually try to do some steps. The next one is about Gradle configuration, and Gradle configuration is a configuration where you will be trying to define some settings for your application, and it is located on the left side. You can actually click the Gradle file where you can actually get some configuration to set, and here you will be defining the version, for example, the different libraries and so on, and located into the build Gradle window, and used to define some dependencies to be used, and based on that then you can actually set some other parameters. The next one which I want to describe is the log statement, and as I already discussed, whenever you run your application, you'll be seeing different type of content here. Here there are a number of buttons to be selected, and in general they are also called log cards, and you can actually display some message, error, warnings and so on while debugging or compiling or even running the program. In case some errors are there, then errors will be displayed on this window. Clearly this is really important, and we have to know exactly. And the window or the panel has different options to display a variety of information about the running application, and this is one. Okay, with this we'll be concluding this short video.